Alright, hello Math 10, Mr. Beeland here with your next lesson. We're continuing on with slope, and we are now going to be looking at slope-intercept form. Okay, so what is slope-intercept form? It's a way to write linear equations. And the way that this gets written is as y equals mx plus b. Okay, so m, we already know that, right? M is our slope. But this b, what is our b? Our b is now going to be the y-intercept. Okay, so if I have my graph here, for example, and then I have a line like this, my y-intercept would be right here, okay? The point that it crosses the vertical line, okay? So pretty straightforward, okay? So we can make some of these slope-intercept equations if we have this information here. This is all we need. We need the slope, we need the y-intercept. So they're all going to be in the form y equals mx plus b. So you can always guarantee yourself that you've got a y equals blank x blank. Now we just got to plug the pieces in. So slope is 2. So the y-intercept here is -1. So y equals 2x minus 1. All right, let's do another one here. So again, y equals blank. -3/5 is our slope. And our intercept is 4. It's +4, so we just go +4. Okay. Not too bad, right? So you can do these other ones here. Make sure that you've got those down. And then let's have a look at this. Sometimes we won't be given the slope and the intercept directly, right? Sometimes we'll have to figure that out ourselves. Okay, so the way that we can do that is by picking another point on our graph that goes through the intersection of your x and y somewhere. So right here is one. And then you know already that you're going to want to use your intercept because that's a good point to refer to, okay? So this point right here is 1, -1. And this point right here is 0 and 1, 2, 3, -4. Okay, so for slope, remember, is rise over run, and our rise is going to be -4 minus 1. So our slope here, we are going up 3, and we are going over 1. So that's just 3 over 1. And then what is our y-intercept? Well, we used that point conveniently, right? So we already know what it is. It's this right here, -4. So again, we have 3, we have -4. So our equation should be y equals 3x minus 4. Okay, I'm going to do one more here. Again, we're using the intercept as one of our points to make it easier. Okay, so this point here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's 0, 7. Already we know that means that our b is +7. What's this point here? This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Okay, so what is our rise? Our rise is going to be from 7 to 1, which is down 6, so -6. And then we are going from, our run is 0 to 4, so 4, which equals -3 over 2. So y equals -3 over 2x plus 7. Okay, so there's some more practice of that on the back side, so give that a go. I'm going to move on here to standard form, okay? So we've talked about our slope-intercept forms. Now we're going to talk about standard form, right? This is pretty well the norm for what we're going to be looking at, right? And this is going to look similar to your linear equations that you would have learnt in grade 9, for example, okay? So our standard form is going to be the form ax plus by equals c. Okay, so you can see here that all these questions are in standard form. And what we're going to do is we're going to convert them into slope-intercept form. Remember, our slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. This big A up here basically represents your run, and this B represents your rise. So in order to find M, we just have to isolate the Y so that it is these two over each other. Okay, so what does that look like? Let's look at this first one here. So again, we're going to basically make this y by itself. So we're going to subtract 2x from both sides, y equals, and because we want it in slope-intercept form, I'm going to rearrange it so that the 2x is at the front, just like that. Pretty straightforward. Okay, let's look at number 2. This is more realistic of the type of problems that you're going to be having to deal with, where you have a coefficient from your y. Okay, so same thing though, we're just going to subtract 4x from both sides, and we get 5y equals negative 4x minus 30, and then we just divide by 5. And we get negative 4 over 5x minus 6. Okay, so there's a whole bunch more problems here for you to do. And then on the next side, similarly, we've got those graphing questions where all you have to do is put together the questions here, right? So you just have to put them together and find these points, okay? So I don't have the paper here in front of me, unfortunately, so I am just going to quickly talk about question 13, okay? So if you are looking at question 13, you will see the graph. What you'll be doing is basically picking 2 points, and you get to choose which 2 points that will work for this. So try to pick the ones that are on intersections, okay? So don't pick points in between intersections, because then you're just trying to guess what that actual slope is, okay? But what we'll find for that one, if you pick the right points, is that your slope is 1/3, okay? And our intercept, if you look at that, is at -2. Okay, so which of these standard forms is going to turn into something like this, right? So we would just go through, right? Again, our standard form would then be y equals 1/3 x minus 2. So then we just need to look and say, okay, well, what does A, B, C, and D make, right? So if I looked at A, for example, that is x plus 3y equals -6. So we would just move the x over and then divide the 3. So what does that look like? 3y equals minus x minus 6. Y equals -1/3 minus 2, which is pretty close to what we want, but we have a negative in front of here, so we're probably going to want a negative x here so that we can add them to both sides, which is, or we could have a negative y and then just have to multiply by the -1, which is exactly what B is. That one is x minus 3y equals 6. So again, we would just subtract the x over to the other side. And then we would divide by -3. Remember, when you divide a negative by a negative, it gets rid of it. So you just have positive 1/3 x minus 2, which is the question we're looking for, okay? Sorry, it's right there. Okay, that is it for slope intercept form and standard form, okay? So have a look at the homework. It should only be 1 page today. It's not too bad. And then we will pick this up again on Monday. Okay, take care, everybody.